What's up, guys? It's Zeno, and welcome back to another episode of Noob's Journey. In this one, we're going to be talking about something a little different. It's a little bit more specific to gameplay, and rather than like the mindset and being consistent, that's just general stuff. But now we're going to talk about making the right decisions as far as selecting your engagements or choosing your battles, as the old cliche goes. So this is one of the fundamental steps to becoming a good player. You have to know basically when to challenge and when to run away. Because sometimes it's more beneficial to your team just to cut and run, cut your losses. If you're at low health, or even if you're like mid-super, you might be in a challenging spot and you just have to waste your super and just get on with it because you're better alive than dead to your team. We're also going to be talking about some key indicators of these situations and how you can identify some of the things that will tell you, get out of here, or you got this, take them on. So to kind of make this easy, I've brainstormed some red flags. These are just indicators of you should probably leave now. And if any of these conditions is true, it's best to just cut and run, break line of sight, and make sure the enemy team doesn't track you back to your base or kill you on the way. Red flag number 1 is literally red when it warns you. It is your health bar, if you haven't guessed already. This is the most important thing to be aware of when deciding when to challenge enemies, because it tells you your statistical probability, essentially, of surviving that encounter. If your health is halfway down, that probably means you have about a 1 in 4 chance of surviving the encounter. Unless you're just all that, then you shouldn't be watching this video. You're probably better than I am at the Crucible anyway. But that aside, if your health bar is red, usually that means retreat to cover unless you cannot retreat to cover. If you cannot retreat to cover, try to just move around something, use something to block the enemy's view of you so that they can't do damage to you while you get some recovery and you can take them back on again. So usually that case only happens when you're kind of out in the open and there's only really one piece of cover, and you just kind of have to keep that piece of cover between you and the enemy who's fighting you. Usually it ends up being just walking in circles like a dog chasing his tail. It's kind of funny to watch after the fact, but while you're doing it, it's actually a really legitimate strategy to get your health back so you can pretty much reset the engagement with full health. So the second red flag you might see is your radar. Now, if your radar basically says that there's red all around you, literally red all around you, and there are enemies surrounding you, it's probably best just to cut and run and quit that engagement cold turkey, because you will probably die. Now, if running isn't an option, you also have 2 potential other options. If you have heavy ammo that can kill multiple enemies, play it smart, try to use cover to your advantage and take them one-on-one, but use your heavy ammo. The second of those options is if you have a super that you can do the same thing you would do with heavy ammo, is use your cover well, or drop it at a time when you can do maximum damage to the enemy team. That will also work in solving your problem, and that is actually a good time to use your super or your heavy, because it will prolong your life and get you a nice kill streak, probably. Now, the third and final red flag, you probably guessed it about that last thing I just said, supers. If the enemy team has supers or heavy ammo, it's a really bad idea to challenge them. I mean, maybe once in a blue moon you'll quick scope the Sunbreaker Titan, or you'll nightly a Sunsinger, a self-resing Sunsinger, or you'll kill a guy with heavy, but usually that doesn't happen. So now, on the contrary to all those red flags, the opposite of red flags would probably be green flags, right? I guess checker flags, but flag analogy aside, to pick when to actually go and actively engage a team instead of run away, you basically look for the same things, except when they're tilted your way. So if you have a super, or you have heavy ammo, or you are surrounding them on their radar, or they are at low health, those are all opportune moments to strike. And also just if you have cover and they don't, that's also a pretty good one. But generally, just look for those red flags in them, see if they have any of those disadvantages I just had mentioned, or if you have any of the advantages that they might have in a red flag situation. So just to sum it up, you gotta know when to fight or when to flee. If you know the saying fight or flight, that little cliche, well, definitely know how to use that. Know when to fight and know when to run, because that will save your butt and probably improve your game more than just about anything else. So just a little reminder to you, apply these tips, focus on these tips, use that growth mindset that I mentioned all the way back in the first episode, and just focus on these tips. The moment that I started to get better at this game was not when I started watching videos. It was when I actually went into the Crucible thinking about, how I could do better and how I could use those tips that were given to me by, the big YouTubers like MTash and True Vanguard and all those great guys. And lastly and briefly, I just want to mention, I do have a Twitch account, and so why is this relevant right now? You've seen the address in just about every video I posted, but why is it relevant now? Well, I'm glad to announce that tomorrow I'll be attempting my first ever Trials Help run with viewers. I'm going to be doing it with a guinea pig and my friend first. So I'm going to see if I can get him flawless with a buddy of mine. And after that, if it's successful, I'll probably open up the chat to more people, and hopefully we'll get a few of you guys to the lighthouse that haven't been there before and get you some nice loot. And it'll be a fun time to interact with you guys in the chat, and so that's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys next time.